and welcome to Business Review on iBrandTV. My name is Bernard Joseph, and here on the program we focus on all of the conversations playing out across business environments. We try to put it in context and in perspective. Of course, we bring in business experts to help us drive the conversation even further. And on today's episode of the program, we look at the role of COVID-19 in Nigeria's second recession in 5 years under the Buhari-led government. Chidume Uzozie, it's a pleasure to have you again on the program. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
The last time you were here, we spoke about the impact of COVID-19 on Nigeria's SMEs, and here we are trying to put the Nigeria's second recession under the Buhari-led government into context. A lot of experts have said that COVID-19 did play a huge role as to why we're where we are in terms of being in another recession. Do you agree that COVID-19 did play a huge role?
Yes, so I agree completely. I mean, Nigeria has been on a stuttering, as it were, in respect to our GDP growth. And then, so the COVID-19 struck when it struck. And then, like I said in the last time we met, that most of the Nigerian businesses are SMEs, over 90%. And these SMEs didn't have the buffer, to, withstand the shock of, recession. And then all of a sudden the pandemic came, they didn't have so much incentives, to prop them up. And so they began to hemorrhage. And collapsed. So if a significant portion, they contribute about 41% of GDP, and this part of the economy is having challenges, definitely is going to.
So you're not surprised? You're not surprised we're in a recession?
I wasn't surprised.
So it was a case of when, not if.
Exactly. And in certain fora, we had this conversation and I said, look, the only way to stop this from happening when this came up is what other countries are doing, like Canada. Canada has put in $77 billion in stimulus package and made sure it got to their SMEs that makes up about 99% of the businesses in Canada. So yes, government has done some intervention to the 50 billion CBN intervention, but I don't know how much it got to SMEs. So essentially this part of the economy is bleeding. And, it won't be surprised that...
Yeah, but while a lot of business experts have talked about COVID-19 being a huge factor that has contributed to this recession we're experiencing right now, there are some other experts who argue that there are other factors to look at. Let's take the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, who talks about the borrowing culture of the Nigerian government and how much when we borrow, we do not use that for the creation and the provision of infrastructure, but rather we're servicing the lifestyle of our political elites. So this is also an argument. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so beyond borrowing, I'm not disputing the fact that it's not only COVID-19. I mean, Nigeria has also had these challenges in the past, given that we're a mono economy. So the problem in the oil sector was central to going down on this way. Again, given what happened with oil price going down, the issues around Russia and Iran, so our own production too, got hit by certain inefficiencies. So we are not producing enough like we used to produce before, and the prices are low. And government's major source of revenue, over 60 or 80% of revenue, is from oil. Even though it forms about 19% of GDP, when government is not spending, everything shrinks, like construction, infrastructure, and all that. They're not providing it. So all the ancillary industries that stem from it also have that problem. So we see the problem of oil. And then the borrowing culture, yes, I agree completely with the former governor. I mean, you don't borrow to fund consumption. You borrow to fund development, so infrastructure, SME support. For you, my life SME, so and all that, So that's the point. So I agree completely that has an impact. But if you had a thriving oil industry that didn't get this double whammy of price going down and also not producing enough, and the COVID issue didn't happen, probably we wouldn't be in recession. But yes, our borrowing would have been caught up with us along the line, but it wouldn't have been as severe as it is.
As it is. Now, interesting. But here on the program, we like to look at solutions as well. And I know you play in certain sectors and industries where you might have a few opinions as to what the government must start doing going forward in order to bring Nigeria out of this recession as quickly as possible. Would you like to highlight some of those positions you think the government must now pay attention to in order to quickly get Nigeria out of this recession?
So when you look at what the US did in the 2008 2009 recession. Some of the things they did were to put a lot of money in infrastructure. So in the construction industry, the mining, so you get cement, building materials, and you're constructing. So they create a lot of jobs, plus the secondary, tertiary, job creation that comes with it. So this type of people begin to have disposable income. And so when they put it into the economy, the other sectors will catch from it. So that is how government, funds try to spend its way out of this recession.
Getting out of recession.
But not just essentially using it to pay salaries. If you continue to pay salaries, it will stop. But when you put it in certain industries, they will have that ripple effect. So that's on one side. You also look at other industry like the agro. We have 200 million Nigerians who have to eat every day. So that's, if government can put those interventions and feed ourselves, that's a whole lot that can help drag that industry. So that's how I think it should be done. So they need to have targeted interventions in certain industries that are central to our existence. You need these infrastructures to thrive. So power, road, bridge construction, you need food to eat. So these areas, in my own opinion, form a significant part of where they should start looking at putting this in.
I like the idea of the concept of a targeted intervention, but then again, I'd like to talk to you about how much faith you have in the current administration to put those interventions in place. But of course, all of those conversations we'll look at when we come back from the break. This business review on iBrandTV, I'm Bernard Joseph. We're speaking with Uzozie Chudume, who is a business analyst, talking with us on the impact and the role of the COVID-19 on Nigeria's current recession. We'll continue the conversation when we come back from this break, so stay with us.
You go enter market, just make you go buy fresh palm fruits. When you reach house, you go wash, you go pound, your body go dey pain you, even your fingernails go dey pain you. But make una no worry, make una relax. I get good news for una. Una don hear of Banga fresh palm fruit extract. All you need to do now make you go for the open am. Take the amount where you want, put them for your pot. Which soup you want make? She na egusi, she na ogbono, she na vegetable, she na banga. My sister no waste time again. My brother no waste time again. Just go buy Banga fresh palm fruit extract. They go know say you sabi cook and you be better cook.
Banga, come make your food yummy yum.
Distributors needed nationwide. Phone number 081 63 974447. 08035644436 07066638213. Banga Fresh Palm Fruit Extract.
Welcome to iBrandTV, where we bring you
quality news and programs
Round the clock.
in politics and global news,
in entertainment, fashion, and lifestyle.
In business news and analysis.
in sports. Who dey there area? Your boy lawyer, comedy self dey your.
At iBrandTV, we wish you
A Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
iBrandTV, quality news on TV.
Hello and welcome back to Business Review on iBrandTV. My name is Bernard Joseph. We're looking at the role of COVID-19 on Nigeria's current recession. Chudume Uzozie is with me in the studio, driving the conversation. Chudume, let's dive right back into it. I was going to ask, just before we went on that break, on the body language, the posture of the government in order to quickly get us out of this recession. I know most of the time you like to not delve so much into politics, but then again, what should the government be doing? Are you optimistic they have the right body language to help navigate Nigeria out of the current recession?
So I think if you come from what government have done with respect to managing the COVID crisis, I think they did quite well, given the fact that our debt rate and all that were quite low, and they've been able to open the economy. So that was a good job they did. And I also know that they've put out some interventions through CBN, to SMEs, which essentially means that they understand, how this should work to get us out. But however, I think it then behoves on them to ensure that they have the right policies. Sometimes you have the right objective, you try to get it implemented, but then from point A to B becomes the issue. So they need to then get the right foot soldiers. So if it means having some sort of tripartite government, private sector, and other stakeholders type of relationship to get this in through, Because that should be the way to go. So there's no other way I see that we can get out of this other than, putting the right incentives, getting those who run the economy, the SMEs, even the corporations, give them the right, support to get this into. So government is not going to spend this way out by increasing salaries, employ more people in government, no. And there shouldn't be any politics about it. It's just having the right conversations, the right policies, bringing the right people who understand the economy, to pull us out of this. And that's what other countries have done anyway.
Now, interesting. Now, before I let you go, I know before the show started, we were talking about one of your papers yet to be released, where you talked about COVID-19 and SMEs and certain details as to providing strategies in order to help cushion the effects that pandemics we usually have on businesses. I wanted you to give a few details on that exactly.
Okay, so it's basically is a paper written on the impact of COVID-19 on SMEs, but looking at it from a general government and organizational strategy. Usually, traditionally, companies and organizations, even government, have a unidirectional strategy to resolving issues, and sometimes it could look like it's preemptive, but essentially it's actually reactive. So, but if you look at what that's called the VUCA. So you're looking at, strategy environment from, the point of view of volatility, from uncertainty, from being complex or being ambiguous. So you try to catch all this and then put them together in a proper strategy that would address these issues, that would essentially preempt them and address them. So when you get to that point, it's no longer a surprise to you. So, i.e., a lot of organizations, a lot of government and others are affected by this. But during this period, there are also organizations that thrived. And I'll give you an example. I mean, the sports world was completely closed, and a lot of money was lost. But the British tennis club, the Wimbledon, they understood that there could be a point where you have a pandemic. So, and their solution to that was to take a pandemic insurance. So, and they've been paying, it would have looked like, it's stupid, but today they were able to get, a lot of payment from the insurance company. And so that cushioned the effect of all the losses they would have made this.
Interesting. So insurance companies need to really be smart at this time to engage SMEs.
So they have to begin to, create products that would address some of these issues. So SMEs, multinational corporations, And so when these things crystallize, these companies can, ride the crest.
Great. So I'm looking forward to getting a copy of this paper when it's eventually out. I'm sure your perspective will always leave us better informed. All right, great. You've been watching Business Review on iBrandTV. My name is Bennett Joseph, and on today's episode of the program, we looked at the role of COVID-19 in Nigeria's second recession in 5 years. Don't forget you can watch this episode of the program on our YouTube channel on iBrandTV. Like and follow all of our social media platforms, and of course visit our website for more news stories. I am Bennett Joseph, and I'll see you again. Bye for now.